We're good. You're good to go. Okay, Bethany?
Are we still gonna have a quorum
Yes.
when we recuse ourselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's call the lucky September 13th, 2024 Central Board of Architecture Review hearing to order. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address an item that is not on today's agenda?
No, we do not. We have
All right, agenda status report. Nothing?
No changes.
No changes. All right. The minutes, August 16th, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor? Right?
Aye.
Okay, I don't really have any informational briefings, I don't think. There's, any refusals today? Anybody abstaining from that?
Yeah, number, whatever Sebastian is,
5,
5.
Yeah, 5, and also Firestone for me.
which would be,
2. Is that 2?
that's number 3 now.
Oh, that's right.
So
So I
also
have-
for you,
So I guess so.
3 and 5 for both of them.
Okay.
Wait a
I
minute.
didn't know you guys were on
No.
Firestone.
No?
No, it's a side issue, but it's kind of messy, so.
Is it Arcadia
Um,
is on Firestone, or do I have to?
no, you don't have to,
Okay,
but, they're personal friends and I'm doing negotiating
Got it.
with friends
Okay.
too. So there you go.
Okay, so 3 and 5 for Puck,
Denise
5
number
for
5.
Denise.
all right, thank you.
Okay, staff update, Nicole?
Good morning. I'm just gonna give you an update on some items that are coming forward for decision in the next couple months. So coming up, this is not in your area, but it involves another BAR, so you might be interested. On October 16th, the Biltmore Hotel project is coming to the Montecito Planning Commission. In that case, the applicant requested the MBAR deny their project, and so it's an appeal of that MBAR denial. So that's going on October 16th. On November 6th, the Harwood appeal, the Channel Islands YMCA alterations is coming to the County Planning Commission. And
Is that one ours or is that?
that is not a BAR appeal. That's an appeal of the decision on a planning commission action. Or of a, sorry, I'll have to look up the case of a staff action. Yeah.
Okay,
And that's all I have.
okay, thank you very much. Standard agenda, item number 1, 2124 bar 72 Verizon at Gardner Ranch. Do we have anybody here for that? I mean, there's gotta be somebody online, because there ain't nobody in the room but us.
Armando.
Good afternoon, or sorry, good morning, everyone. Yeah, Armando's here, agent for the project.
Perfect.
All right, I will go ahead and kick it off. As I mentioned, my name is Armando Montes with Sequoia Deployment Services, representing the applicant Verizon Wireless. Verizon is proposing a new wireless telecommunications facility at 650 East Highway 246 in Buellton. The proposed project is located roughly at the southwestern portion of the property. Access to the site comes from an existing access road that begins at the northeast portion of the property and makes its way up the hill. The facility itself is designed as a 3-sector, 50-foot tall monopine that will sit in a 27-foot by 28.5-foot equipment lease area, securely enclosed by an 8-foot tall chain link fence. The objective of this project is to improve the overall network coverage and capacity in the surrounding rural areas. Pretty much concludes my brief presentation, and I'm open to any questions that you guys may have.
Let's go to the different pages, right? So on the next page, although the word site is highlighted in white, that's not the actual site. It's hard to see the black arrow, but right in there is you can see where it's pointing out the site is, yeah, that little,
Yeah.
yep, okay. So zoom back out. And then, that's good. And then go to the next page and the next one, let's see, scroll down a little ways and you get into where it is on the site. Keep going. There, so that's the access road he spoke of. Next is the actual site. Now there are other enclosures up here for other providers.
Yeah, there's other carriers up on this hill.
And those are single poles, they're not a monopine, correct?
Correct. Yeah, they're more like a popsicle stick design, kind of, not a single structure monopine as this.
Okay. And how tall are those other?
I don't think we captured them. I want to say they're probably like 20 feet tall at the most, just going off of pictures I had seen.
Okay. And your structure to the very top, to the top of the panels is like 45 feet, and then the actual monopine is 50, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you also represent the other Verizon project that we're seeing today?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so you're familiar with our comments about the fencing and the lighting and all of that? Because we're gonna have exactly the same comments,
Gotcha.
probably. Okay, is there anything else? Do you have pictures from, any kinds of things from 246 or anything that shows the site, or any pictures of the site?
We do have photo simulations we provided. I think most of those views are off of 101. And then we did have some additional site photos we provided. I think a couple of those did capture from 246.
Okay, we don't have those.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't it just? Sadly, this is a common occurrence. Okay, so the first, does anybody care if I start? Do we have any members of the public?
We do have, so if you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. Not seeing any public comments.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start, and then everybody chime in if I missed something. So my first question is about the fencing. What does the board feel about this fencing? Are we okay with chain wire and barbed wire on the top?
Can we see it, or I don't think it's a problem?
I don't think you can see the chain link and the barbed wire.
No problem.
No, I don't have a problem.
Okay, the lighting, it's the same kinds of requests we've had before. Usually we ask them to put it below the fencing, but I mean, since it's chain link, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And then my first comment is I want to see photo simulations, because absent the photo sims, I almost would just prefer this to be a pole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't want to see a one
Fake pine tree.
fake pine tree sort of sticking up. in the middle
Amongst
of
the oaks.
nowhere. 'Cause they, oh, sorry, they really do.
Yeah, well, they don't move, and the other trees move, and then you've got this thing standing there and it's not moving. So it really calls attention to itself. So I'd really like to see some pictures of the site. To get some general context of, are the trees that are around it, because there's a lot of, in the aerial, there's showing a lot of dark green. And I'm
Is there
assuming,
any sorry to interrupt you. Is there any like email address or someone I can email the sims and the photos to at this time, or is it kind of like too late?
it's conceptual and it is further information, we can look at it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, if you can,
yeah, you can go ahead and send it to me, Armando.
Okay.
Do you have my email address?
Is this Teresa?
Yes.
Yeah, I have your email.
Okay, send it to her real quick.
earlier.
Yeah.
the
Of course.
earlier
Just do
that-
that right away.
And while we wait for that, if you don't mind, we can go to the second, we can come back to this in a minute
No.
and just go to item number 2.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay,
Call George and-
why don't you, item number 2. All right, so we're gonna temporarily table item number 1, and we're gonna go to item number 2, 24 bar 70, Verizon at 3174 Roblar Avenue. I'm just gonna give 2 shakes here, go ahead and get your stuff up.
All right, I'll look at this one.
Okay, sir, would you, go ahead and just address the comments from last time? Do you want me to read them?
Yeah, so I believe for this project, this is a full water tank. The comments we received last time, BAR wanted to see specific color palette, kind of break up the just brown that we had everywhere. So we incorporated some cast brown into the tank, like we had shown in some of our previous examples. Yeah, so you see the cast brown, and then I forget what the gray is called. It's on the drawings though.
Okay, we'll take a look at the drawings in a minute.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we kind of broke it up, like I mentioned, different colors. The fencing, we brought down the lighting as requested, so no longer protrudes to the top. It's all tucked in below. And we did look at the center pipe. I know there were some questions regarding that. We had our engineers design it as thin as possible. And I think we made a call out on the drawings to ensure that, when it comes to actually selecting or ordering the equipment from the vendor, that we do go with the smallest possible piping in the middle, so it's not such a large contrast from the supporting legs. And yes, that's pretty much, I think those are the main comments we had seen the last time.
Well, that was a good one.
Okay.
We can see where it is. Everybody's familiar with the site. Scroll down. Okay, one more. And then go ahead and go to the elevations. Keep going.
Oh.
There we go.
And I believe one of the other comments too was on the elevation sheet, you guys wanted to see what the fencing would look like, not make it, transparent, so we could see the equipment, what it would actually look like as the site. So that's why you're not seeing any of the cabinets that are behind the fence or even
And
the
we
lights
also-
because we are bringing them lower.
We asked you to show the fence post on the exterior and it looks like you've done that. So. Did you have rendered elevations or are those only in your Sims?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The last note was, in addition to provided elevations, add rendered versions of the same elevations. Is that what you've done in the simulations?
Yes.
Okay,
And to be clear, it looks like the fence posts are on the outside in elevation, but not in plan.
well, that's a good catch. Yeah. I think what they did was they actually put they just put
Applied something.
planks on the
Oh.
outside to make it look like fence posts.
Got it.
How are you, actually, and that's interesting, because that's the same hatch as what, it's like a line type.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's just what it is.
So, yeah, can you go up to the plan? So we have a quick question, do you have a detail of the fence?
Do we have a detail of the fence? I don't believe we do. I know we called out this as being a wooden fence. And do we call out the color of the fence?
Yeah.
We just called out that the new wood fence is gonna match the existing wood fence on the property. So I think we're still going more of a brown color there.
Is there the wood fence on the property is not, it's post and wire. So you can't match it. Unless I'm totally missing the obvious.
That's true. Yeah, I may have misspoken on that.
Okay, so, I think we need a detail of your fence and the gate. I do both at the same time. Cause you're gonna need that to construct it anyway. And you see, looking at this plan, you see Andrew's comment about, it looks like there are fence posts on the inside.
Mhm.
Okay, so you need to bring your plans into conformance, actually show where your posts are gonna be and how they're gonna appear in plan. And then you need to call out what materials they are and what colors. This all goes back to comment number 1, which is need to see a materials board. So in addition to having your colors and everything called out on the plan, you need a board that just shows, this is the color, this is a paint chip sample for, you know, the color of the 2 colors on the tower. This is the paint chip sample for the color on the fence, if you're gonna paint it, or whatever you're gonna do with it. Your planner can work with you, so you know what a color board is like, because the color board will be stamped here. Actually, you should make 2. And then it goes out on site. One is returned to you and goes out on site and is there during construction, so that the inspector can take a look at it.
I'm sorry I missed it, but is the structure itself, you know, that's holding the tank, are those galvanized legs?
Scroll down, or what's it say there? What's it say?
Does it say it's here somewhere?
It might,
Let me see.
I don't think the galvanized, I think it's painted.
We're painting the tower legs.
There you go.
Okay, so we'll have that color to review,
Yeah,
but
On
just,
note number 4, it says center pipe tank legs to be painted a network gray color.
It's the same gray.
okay.
yeah,
Okay, so yeah, those color chips and all that need just be put on a color board. So talk to your planner about that. for your materials color board.
We had a materials board we submitted last time. That's how we got the paint samples for the tank and the legs. I think the only thing we're probably missing is
You can add to it, and then take a picture of it and submit that as well. And that'll satisfy it for us. And then we'll be able to see that. I think he should come back final on consent with the detail and the color board. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion for preliminary approval, final on consent. Should we do-
Second.
Yeah. All right, hold on a second. She says I didn't call public comment, so we'll make sure I call public
I'll
comment.
answer that.
Do we have any public comment on this item?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, raise your hand. I do see that Adam also has his hand raised
Yep.
up.
Adam, you should have just jumped in.
I didn't want to interrupt. It was going so well. How are you guys?
Oh, no, interrupt me anytime you need to.
Hey, yeah, Adam Orta from P&D here. Just wanted to point out to the chair and the board. We did call this application incomplete for a second time, and I just kind of want to bring up a couple of things that your board might be interested or could speak into. So as you can see, the project is quite visible from the north and southeast view from Highway 154. If you want to pull up the sim, Teresa, you can kind of follow along with what I'm saying. And so while tier 3 telecom towers don't necessarily require landscaping, county staff, we still have to make findings that these facilities are adequately screened from public viewing areas. As you guys already know, 154 is a scenic highway, so screening is particularly important for these facilities. So I just want to, one, ask and bring to the chair and board's attention if landscaping would be considered for additional screening. It's kind of our first question, and two, kind of along the lines of screening and placement from or visibility from public viewing areas. We also asked the applicant to sort of better provide additional analysis regarding alternative site locations on the property itself. We think the applicant did a great job providing justification of why this site in particular was chosen. However, we would want, staff wants to see better explanation of why this particular location on the corner of the property was chosen. I believe in some of the materials the agent provided, I think this was preferred by the owner to have it in this corner of the property. But as I mentioned previously, it's a highly visible corner coming both from the north and southeast sides from the 154. So I just wanted to bring that to the chair and the board's attention for just further consideration on screening. That's all I got. Happy to answer any questions.
So there's two questions there, and the first is additional screening required.
Well, first the second question was alternative sites.
Yes.
So first I'd like to know what other alternative sites were.
If you go to the primary dock.
It's pretty extensive.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, scroll down.
and they were just eliminated. Yeah, there are a bunch
Oh,
of
there
them.
you go. So, it's Armando, you're the agent, correct?
Hi, guys. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so there's, this is the second question, which goes to alternative sites, and I think the first part was, in this document, you basically indicated that the red pens are places, are people, with properties whom you spoke to who didn't want to, have this, yeah, they didn't want this on their property. I think there was one that you couldn't come to an agreement with because the lease was too expensive. But other than that, they were all no's, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so within the, this parcel, can you zoom in on this?
Right.
Let's go, yeah, okay. What is actually the parcel here? Is it the,
Triangle.
is it the whole triangle? No, it's bigger than that. Yeah,
What do I call this?
yeah, does it go all the way down there to the red pin and then down to the road and back to 154?
Let me see, sorry. The parcel here. I would say pretty much goes to probably a little bit left of the red pin. And then kind of cuts down from the edge of the development right there to the left of the red pin and all the way down. That's pretty much the property that we're on.
So the green area below the development is not part of the property.
Yeah, no, I don't believe it is. I think it's pretty much just the development you see right there from the left of the red pin to the right of 154, that entire like developed area is pretty much our property.
So
All the green areas are not.
So there it is. Okay, so it goes from,
Weird shape.
follow my thing, so it goes from here
Yes,
to here to here.
yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Seems odd.
It's a weird shape.
It's a very odd shape.
Yeah.
Oh, so it does include more.
But it's funky. It's on page 2 of the drawings.
If you go to the drawings, you go to sheet A1, you kind of get an outline of the APN.
Right there.
I mean, it does seem like you could put it further away from the intersection.
So it goes just that little. Oh, so it's, yeah, go back to that. Okay, so it's actually from here to here, down and over.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even,
No. Yeah, I don't know that there really is another place to put it on the property.
I'm okay with it there,
Yeah.
as long as they mask it, looks
I mean-
rural.
The concept of landscaping is so problematic because it's
Yeah.
never maintained. And
Well,
then we have
and
a bunch of dead things to look at.
Or oleander, which is.
Yeah.
so like this is a case in point, a view case in point. This is, Roblar is just curving away to the right there, so
Yeah.
we're on Roblar actually, looking
Right.
towards 154. You know, it's out in the middle of the field, it is what it is. I mean, we've got the solid fence. If they can make it look agrarian, an agrarian type solid fence, then, I think they have a much better chance of maintaining that, and keeping it looking nice than
Then
additional
a lot
landscape.
of plants.
Yeah,
Well,
Nature will take care of that.
I'm, yeah.
Isn't that constrained to the lease area anyway?
yeah, and so you'd have this tiny little,
It's a 30-foot square.
yeah, I mean, there's no there's no place to put any landscaping that, some oak trees further out would be meaningful, but they're not in the area, so.
No.
There
And,
you go.
and it's up to the owner then to maintain and everything,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
No, it doesn't work. It's
no.
not feasible. So I'm fine with that.
I just can't get over the fact that it looks like a piston, not a water tower.
Well, yeah, I feel like the gray or the legs, something is a little off there to me, but.
No, it almost seems like the water tank portion needs to be bigger.
That's what I was thinking, like the one that's over by, Los Olivos, there, it's on the corner. There's a water tank in town.
Yeah.
It's like a saucer on top of it, that's so straight up and down.
Armando, you had some samples of a water tower that had a platform. Is one of your,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Previous.
we've
so
seen this.
it kind of looks a little more, water towery.
yeah,
Where is that?
that was last
There's a
time.
Sample.
Yeah, it was in the photos from the material board we sent over, the digital material board.
Yeah, I saw it on the submittal too. To me, it looks more appropriate, like it's actually sitting on, like it's really a water tank sitting on something. This seems like it's not supported if it was really water in it.
Well, the balance of the board didn't feel the platform fit what we wanted, because there was a note here that says one member thinks the platform below the water tank is desired as shown in the example.
Like me, I think I was.
It probably was, but everybody else was not
Well,
hip on the
maybe
platform.
it's just the proportions somehow.
Yeah, it just seemed, but I'm okay with it as it is. Just
We'll go to the materials board.
there isn't one.
Yeah, there is.
What's the diameter of the tank? Just real quick.
We have photo simulations.
There's,
We have
okay,
plans.
that's mentioned.
We have the alternative sites. And, we have some pictures
there.
from the site.
Right there.
Yeah, well,
That's
but
in-
even the one on the right, see how it hangs over?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But if you go to the elevation, it does that. If you look at the sheet A5 on page 8, it does that.
Oh, it does do that.
It doesn't come through in the photo sims, but it does it in the.
Yeah, they didn't do it the right way in the photo sims.
There we go.
Ah, okay,
Okay.
yeah, then I have no problem with
Okay,
it.
we're good then.
If they build it like that, the actual drawing,
Yeah,
okay, so the piston look is a fallacy, all right.
discard photo sims.
Okay, so what we need to, we've addressed Adam's comment. Adam, I think we addressed the comment, we don't think we should add additional landscaping that's, in our view, probably going to die.
Okay, that's no problem. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and as far as alternative sites on this property itself, we don't really see a standout alternative based on what we have before us.
Okay, great. I just wanted to bring those two to you guys' consideration. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks for asking. So back to my motion and the fact that they need to come back. If we follow through with the motion, they would need to return with the color board and, all colors called out on the plan, and the plans need to match the details, which they're also to provide for the fence. And very nice job on lowering the lights, changing the colors. That all looks good. So That's what you need to come back with. So my motion was for preliminary. Was there a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Bethany?
yeah,
I just want to make sure, was there a comment to change it to a more agrarian style fence, or is this acceptable?
I think this is the minimum of acceptability. Just look at some solid wood fences and agrarian styles and see what they can do. I mean, this would be just fine if they detailed this and with the posts, making sure that the posts show on the exterior. They're gonna need bracing on that gate, so whether they make it aesthetic or it's all internal and you know, something else, you know, it's up to them. So whatever they come up with, we'll look at.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. So, going back to item number 1, did you get the email? Okay. Which is Verizon at Gardner Ranch. Okay, Armando, you wanna orient us here? This is from 101?
Yes, this first view is from 101. As you see right here, top photo, existing, and you can kind of see right there on the bottom, or sorry, on the top of the hill, those are the existing cell sites right there. Those kind of things that are popping up pretty much. Those are the antennas.
Okay, scroll down a little. And this
You
will be
want
the
to scroll down and then,
No. We rest our case.
we have our lonely tree on top.
No further discussion needed.
Is this the only thing he sent you?
No, there's
Scenic trail system between all.
So this is from a distance. This is also from 101.
Yes, correct. All 3 views are from 101.
Okay.
Why do they even?
Also from 101.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man.
You want me to do what?
Why am I doing this?
Okay. I'm actually, I'm interested in the, in what it would look like from 246 as well. And I'm a little interested in how this interacts
There.
with the, it's from Highway 246 East, so you can't see it, that's the entrance though, right?
Yes, so that's the entrance. It zigs all the way up. We're that hill in the far distance. I think it's probably why we didn't provide sims from 246, just because it's so far.
Yeah, it's pretty far away.
That doesn't look like 246. That looks like 101. Where is that on 246?
Let's see here. I don't think I had a map legend on this guy.
That's definitely 101. You don't have one-way signs on
Yeah, I
246.
mean, it's a divided.
Yeah, it could have been mislabeled on our end.
Yeah.
So I apologize on that one.
No worries, but this is, so I'd like to see, from 246, and I'm also interested, I'm gonna Google Earth.
Could we just see new photo sims with the monopole from both locations?
Yeah, I think that's what we'd like. So Nicole, photo sims, from the 3 positions on 101 that they've already done with a monopole and,
That's the garden sometimes.
Okay, so, see this says where it says Highline Adventures? This is their rope walk and stuff under here, and this is the zip
Oh,
line.
I don't think they could see that. Let me make sure that's good.
Remember when we saw that?
Okay, so now you're seeing our screen as well. So this is Highline Adventures here on 246. And this is their rope walk down close to, well, this is actually, across the river. But, cause 246 is way over here, right? This is the river. And then this is their zip line. It goes from here, or roughly in that location, to there. This is your site.
That's correct.
Now, I know they are downhill from you. And your site is actually here, it's on this side. Or in this general vicinity.
Yeah, where your cursor's at, the
Right.
edge of the dirt patch, yeah.
But this I think is tied to the zip line. And so I'm a little interested in,
I don't care about this.
in what it looks like from 246. I imagine if you can't see the zip line, you will see the top of this though, where it sticks up. So at least one view from 246. I know it's a long ways away, but the top of the ridge should be visible. And I think that's another advocation for a monopole instead of the pine. So go back to sharing what you've got. Okay. All right. Thank you for emailing those. That was very helpful.
Of course.
Okay.
Bless you.
Again, we'll do public comment. Do we have public comment on this item?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand.
Which is item number 1. Just in
Oh,
case.
yes, item number 1. Not seeing any raised hands, so no public comment.
All right. So, any comments?
Monopole,
All in favor of a monopole, it sounds like.
yes.
Yes.
Yes,
As far as color of the monopole, are you thinking something light that it will just disappear into the skyline?
Wait,
Yes.
sorry. When you say monopole, you mean not a pine?
no.
Correct. No pine, no fake foliage of any kind.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, we're looking for a regular pole. And in this case, we don't want it to look like a telephone pole, so we don't necessarily want it to be dark. I think they might in fact be better off going with some kind of neutrally colored.
Anodized gray. You want to see it.
Yeah,
We've usually done galvanized.
There
Yeah,
Um,
that's
It's got
non-reflective, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that would be fine. But what we're gonna want samples of the material on your sample board. And basically what we're gonna be looking for is non-reflective or as non-reflective as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah, we usually put a detail galvanized with like a low finish. I could probably bring examples of what that would look like.
That would be fine.
Okay, gotcha. I'm trying to think of a material word for that. Might be a little bit difficult. So yeah, we'll look through some other sites we've built with that detail and kind of present it.
Okay, can we look at the site plans on this one? And the galvanized fence was okay with everybody and everything. It would be nice to know that the lights were on a timer or some other,
motion.
well, you got deer and things going by, so.
Hmm.
Everything on the interior, not just only on the interior. The lights.
Yeah. but
No deer going inside.
yeah. But motion usually is only set for a certain amount of time, and
We should have a note on the drawings that mentions the service lights being on a timer.
Yeah, timer.
okay, that's fine. That's mostly what I wanted to know. Okay, no, that sounds fine. So we're good with everything else?
Wash bathrooms, yeah.
How do we want them to return? This is here for conceptual.
Consent.
Preliminary final
Final
on
on
consent?
consent, yes.
Okay, if the planner is okay with it, then preliminary final on consent, otherwise full board. Okay, let's go to item number 3, 24 bar.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
00110.
Do we go get a motion for that?
No, it's conceptual.
That's consent.
Okay.
Correct.
Firestone Garage. Good
I'm
catch.
recusing myself.
All right, off you go.
Good morning. My name is Josh Gardner. I'm the architect and agent on Firestone Garage. I've got Nick Firestone also on the line to listen in case you guys have any questions for him directly. We are proposing a detached 960 square foot 3-car garage next to their existing garage and residence on their 5-acre parcel. The garage, as you can see, is, well, it's about 15 feet in height from looking at the elevations. You guys have the
Yeah, we'll get there in a sec.
drawings, okay,
You're talking about right in here, right?
that's correct, yep.
Okay. So you can go to the drawings. That's the site photos.
Oh, perfect, you guys, okay, so the,
Start with that.
okay, perfect, yeah, I didn't know if you guys got sent the photos or not. So the garage is going to be matching the same materials, roof, walls, same garage doors, everything to the existing garage. It's just essentially additional vehicle space. Right, yeah, go to that next photo we were just at, right there where the white truck is. It's essentially sitting in that spot, 90 degrees to the existing garage, sharing the same drive entrance at both spots. If you pull up my site plan, you can see clearly how that lays out. So it's free and clear to be constructed, no trees to be removed. The tree line starts essentially to the south of the new garage, and they're all existing to remain. I believe if you go to the next page, it shows the elevations. I'll go back one. Shows the heights there from finished floor, and the average height from the ridge down to median grade is 15 feet. So that 16 foot is maximum height from the front. I think that is everything I wanted to explain. You guys have any questions?
Could you go back to the site plan, Stephanie?
It's Teresa's gonna.
And then just the photos again, the site photos.
See that white truck on the left? That's about
Okay.
where I was gonna go.
Yeah, it's gonna get pushed back into the hill a little bit. So it maintains the same height as the existing garage, and then there will be a integrated built-in concrete retaining wall that's a part of the building itself that will retain the dirt around at the back and along the two sides as it slopes down to the driveway.
And could you go back again, Bethany, to just the view, the side photos with the more of a view of that? So Josh, is that where the garage will sit, kind of where the gravel is?
No, that's a different part of the site. That is, if you pull up yeah, you can see that's down by the playground. So if you pull up the site plan,
Mhm.
that is along the back side of the house, on that flat area that you see behind the garage.
Oh, it's over there,
That's back there, yeah.
Okay.
This area, yeah, you can that is, there, that's a good shot right there. It's essentially going where
Where the mulch is?
where the mulch is, exactly. I think I've got it off there by, let's see the distance from the house.
This goes straight on.
16 feet off the face of that, or off the corner of that.
There's some good, right?
Okay.
So as you can see, the grade rises up a little bit there. We'll just tuck that in
Mm-hmm.
so it sits low.
So it's just to the left of the trucks there.
Turn 90 degrees to the existing garage.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Looks like there's a tree, right, a newly planted sapling right in there that might need to be moved.
Yeah.
That's 18 feet, so.
Yeah, we'll be moving all of those. I think there's 2 or 3 of them there.
Yep. Are those, what kind of trees are those?
You know, they're not native trees. I don't have the species. They're actually not doing very well at the moment. But they're the same tree that you see there to the right of the car, planted right up against the house.
Ah, okay. Okay, any further questions?
Yeah, is your overall intent just to match the style of the house as much as possible?
Yeah, same roofing, same wall color, same garage style, very close to the same height. Same construction, hip roof. So yeah, matching everything.
Same roof slope?
Same roof slope. Yep. Same fascia profile. Everything's identical.
Any other questions?
No.
Do you have any public comment?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. Not seeing anybody online, so we do not have any public comment with the raised hand yet.
Okay. And do you have anything to?
My only note is if you're really trying to drive it home with matching the styles, consider a OG gutter instead of the box. That's the only thing I caught that's different, but otherwise, nothing objectionable that I see.
Okay, anybody else have anything? All right, so for your purposes here, not in front of building and maybe not even for land use stuff, I mean, because you've already gotten quite detailed in your drawings and everything. And taking Andrew's comment about the gutters. What you need to put on your drawings for us is, all colors, materials, and details to match existing.
Just a note.
Yes.
Okay.
Put it on elevations, put it on the drawings,
Okay.
you know, the plans, everything, just put it anywhere you can think of. I did have one question, because I noticed you don't have any lights on the garage.
There are going to be lights installed. And one thing that didn't get updated on the plans in time, it got updated on the planning documents, but not on the BAR document, is I did switch out the light because the existing light fixture they have on their building does not meet the dark sky compliant. So I did find a fixture that met that, and I put it on the planning documentation per our planner Tatiana's request, but I don't think that got transferred over to this, your guys' set, so.
So your note is now going to read all colors, materials, and detailing except proposed lighting to match existing. And then you need to put the light fixture on the plans when you come back to us.
Okay.
And you need to show them on your elevation and your plan view and identify them. And then we need like a cut sheet that shows kind of what it looks like.
Yep,
And,
okay.
and you need to note that the lamp needs to be, we'll probably look at wattage just to see, you know, how much you've got. But basically what we're looking for is 2,700 Kelvin.
Okay.
For the temperature on the bulb, and we're looking for, that's part of the dark sky compliant stuff. And we're looking for less is more.
You're looking for, sorry, what was the last statement?
Well, like on this elevation here, you could put, I've seen people come in with elevations like this and they have 4 lights on it.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for you to do fewer lights.
Oh, yeah, so when I sent it to Tatiana, I put one on the far left of the garage door and on the far right. So two on the front, and that's it.
That would be fine, and then
Okay.
one next to the pedestrian door
Yeah, let me see if I have that. Let me check here.
on the north elevation?
Yes, one to the right of the pedestrian door, correct.
That would be fine with us. I mean, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay.
So that's what we need you to come back for. They're here today for conceptual review. I think with those changes, they could return preliminary final.
Yeah, that's a garage.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so, we're looking for you to come back to us preliminary final full board,
Okay.
okay?
Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 23 bar 00160 more, new single family dwelling.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. Hello. All right. So my name is Rory, representing Fubister Architects and the Moore family. Okay. Let me see if that's working now. Perfect. You can hear me. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. This is our second concept review since the last hearing, which was a couple months back. We've made significant progress in terms of just vetting the design and flushing it out with the full design team. So if it's okay with you, I'll just give a quick introduction to the changes.
Great.
All right. So since then, we've added our landscape architects, Campi and Harubi. They're present as well, Steve here. So if there's any questions for the landscape, we can certainly answer those. In addition, we've added Lydia, who's our civil engineer. She's also present.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Are you bugging out for item number 4 as well? No. Sorry, one of our members was,
I just,
Stroll here, Adam.
no, I just had a brain fog because he sounded like Nick's brother-in-law, Rob.
oh,
And so,
No, this is Rory, not Rob.
same accent.
she thought maybe we were still on the last item,
Oh
even
my
though we
God.
called her back. So I'm gonna, before you get really truly rolling here, I'm gonna go ahead and read the comments from last time real quick.
Yeah, please.
And then if you could orient us
Yes.
on the site location so that we're back to,
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's gonna take a hot minute to load anyway. The
Yeah.
second story of the garage feels out of place and should be eliminated, given that the proposal has glazing on all 4 sides. We prefer a more earth tone color palette A gravel driveway may not be desirable for an avid car collector. The amount of glazing appears excessive and should be reduced. In the San Ynez Valley, this amount of glazing would lead to extreme light in the mornings, high heating and cooling costs, and light trespass reflectivity. Summers in this area are very hot. Find ways to add shade. The site is very windy and the water will be blown out of the infinity pool and reflecting pool. Water is also extremely limited. With regard to the pool, reconsider the size and use an infinity edge in the context of resource management. Large bodies of water will need to be considered in the WILO calculations. Consider the accessibility of the site, number of stairs, and include handrails so that the property is usable. A site visit will ultimately be required. Work with the planner first to flesh out any remaining issues. Okay. So,
Brilliant.
where we are, we're let it go drive. All right.
Ready to roll?
Yep.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'll just reintroduce. My name is Rory, the architect. We have Steve, the landscape architect, present, Lydia, the civil engineer, present, and we also have Brett and Angie for the local expediters and local knowledge present. So any questions, we can direct them to the right people. So what I would like to start with is sheet P100 if possible. And that's the landscape site plan, just to kind of orientate where we are on the site and how we kind of operating. So it's a couple more sheets just after 8102. There we go. That should be the ticket once it loads in. Brilliant. Okay, so just to kind of, there's obviously quite a lot going on this sheet, and I just want to orientate the different buildings, the different landscape plan, and some of the methodology and kind of thoughts behind why it's been designed this way. So the street access is right at the bottom of the screen, running in a left-right direction. And that's going to be the main primary street. The hill falling away to the backside is where you'll see a word that says vineyard falling down the hill. And that's obviously where the hill is rolling down and towards the crest. Okay. So the primary components of the previous submittal are still very much in play. We still have the main residence in the same location. So let me see if I can highlight that one actually. I don't know if I've got annotation ability on this one. Do you see annotation, Kendall?
Rory, this is Kevin. I can do this.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, please. Oh, fantastic. Okay, and then the ADU portion is to the left. So that's actually going to be where the existing house is located currently. And then we still have the detached kind of car collector barn down by the bottom. And then there's a couple new components to the program, which have kind of been added, which is more of an agricultural element. There is a new agricultural barn and pasture, along with, as we kind of flushed out the design, obviously trying to make this a fully developed proposal. We've also been working with a fire consultant with regards to pump houses, water storage, and what's going to be required to ensure, obviously there's quite a lot of house, to make sure that it's feasible and we're not going to have any issues when we get down the line with planning. So that's going to be located in the bottom right-hand side. So again, the street runs right on that bottom at an angle. Conceptually, all the pieces are in the same place. We did obviously working with the landscape architect, come up with a few variations here. So Kevin, I don't know if you want to speak just briefly on the three big components, which is fire access, obviously screening, the olive alley, and a few other components there.
Sure. Yeah. We've kept the existing garden largely intact. We've worked with the fire consultant to be able to provide access to get water to the back of every building. So, there's fire access here on the left to get to the ADU, and there's fire access here to get to the other side of the ADU and the left side of the main house. There's fire access here to get to the back side of the main house. So, and then obviously the pump house is here. So we tried to make sure that all of that is covered. In between the kind of the farm side of the property and the house is a small vineyard of olive trees. We've reduced the number of trees to provide this fire access, so it's sort of an alley of olives. Everything else is pretty much the same, I think, as you've seen before.
So one other noticeable difference I do want to talk about is the water and how we're using the civil grading component of this, because obviously there's a good amount of earthwork going on of all the cards on the table. So one of the ways that we've tried to mitigate water and how we're utilizing that in the design process is there's now a dry creek bed that actually runs through the site. It starts kind of where the existing road, yeah, perfect, thanks, Kevin. And that actually goes underneath a bridge component. It runs all the way through the site. So we're really trying to work with the landscape, with the site, with the contours, so that we don't have any water being, well, truthfully stopped. We're kind of working with the site on that. And that's a key design feature, which is going to show up in both the renders and obviously the grading drawings, okay?
So that's there's some redundancy in that, so the water will move through the site, but there's some backup drains that will collect it so that it'll never become an issue.
Yeah, exactly. So just kind of going back a stage to the board's comments at the previous hearing, the first comment was the second story garage. Now, obviously, due to the nature of the height change, that's far enough away from the top of the bluff, we are confident that from, down the bottom of the hill looking up, you would never see the second story. In addition, just looking at the landscape plan here, from the streetscape and what's visually apparent, the four big trees to the left of the detached garage, I'm not sure if I'm able to share screen, but I can show you an image of what that looks like. We're proposing to retain those existing trees along the front, and they do provide a wealth of coverage to help mitigate and screen where that proposed second story component would be. Like I mentioned, it is a considerable distance. It's over, I think it's 130 feet from the edge of the bluff. So obviously the height limit does change there. And that's why we were proposing it, just to be able to get a sneaky peek at the sunset, which is obviously towards the west. Just to regain the bearings, the north direction is going to be, if you actually can scroll down a smidge on the sheet, there is a north arrow just to kind of get your bearings of where we are. Well, there should be a north arrow. The north arrow.
It's there. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of just getting your bearings of where we are. And then I'd love to kind of move through some of the other comments, unless you have any off the cuff.
If you can just be succinct and move through the comments, that would be great. If we have questions, we'll ask you in a minute.
Beautiful. Okay, so comment 2 was prefer the earth tone palette. So we did add a material palette sheet as A801. The palette that we're proposing is obviously a soft and tactile qualities. We're using Kynar black for the steel frame windows and doors instead of all glazing. We have elements of Corten planters. We have an ancient Turkey white rubbled stone mix. I don't know if that's able to show up. It'll show up shortly. We are still proposing some stone floors for the exterior. One of the landscaping components is we do have a mix of gravel and pavers. The smooth trowel stucco is a kind of earthier toned, it's a dove white, but we're certainly open. Obviously I know this is just at a concept level. We're happy to kind of to look at that. There we go. We got there now. So the stucco color didn't come through, but it's got a little bit more earthy tone to it. And then the pool, we were utilizing a color of olive for the waterline tile and waterline edge. The wood is an Akoya smooth ivory finish to obviously meet fire resistance, which is a highly important component of the material. So we feel very confident that this material palette has those tactile qualities to not feel like an alien spaceship landed on the top of the hill, but actually in keeping with the site, the materiality, and the local architectural vernacular. Okay. Next up was the amount of glazing. So obviously, just like every project, we're trying to maximize the views, especially on that northeast corner. So what I would like to kind of look at is sheet A802, which is literally the next sheet along. So that's 802. There we go. Perfect. So here you'll see a sun study analysis. Now, obviously the glazing is directed in the northeast fashion. And what we've done is utilize the roof overhangs to try and provide maximum coverage. So really the majority of the glazing is in shade from, we've got the dates from June to December in both a summer and winter study. And you can see that really only in the December kind of 8 a.m. element is when you're going to get any light that's really hitting those glass. So that's fantastic for two reasons. One, solar heat gain, and two, reflectivity back towards the valley with regards to, no one wants to see a glazing light box reflecting all of the light. So I feel, again, utilizing these sun studies, we've kind of accomplished to ensure that there's no glazing going back into the valley. That kind of adds directly into item 5, which is summer shade. Obviously the summer is very hot. And again, this will be a passive house with regards to the amount of glazing, quality, insulation, all of those components. The size, item 6, is pertaining to the wind and the infinity pool. So obviously we really do want to try and maximize the length of the pool. However, what we have done is if you turn to sheet A101 or 102, the pool depth has been varied. So instead of having a deeper pool at the full length, we've actually added a 25-foot Baja shelf, which would be only limited to a maximum of 18 inches deep. So that drastically decreases the water volume. It still gives the appearance of a longer pool. However, obviously the volume is drastically less than previously submitted. Next up was item 8, which is the accessibility for the site. Love that comment with regards to making sure that the Moore family can stay here for forever. So some of the things that we have done is try to work with the site, of course, and try and mitigate grading. So from the attached garage at the main house, instead of having stairs down to the main residence, and I don't know if it's possible to zoom in on A102. Thank you so much for next sheet. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so from the main garage there, if you attach garage to the main residence, you can see it there, I think. Previously, there was a set of stairs, so we want to keep the attached garage finished floor higher than the main residence, again, to try and mitigate the amount of grading that we're doing on site. But to avoid a series of stairs, we're actually going to have that bridge element that you can see tagged there. That's actually going to be a ramp. So that ramp acts like a true bridge over the water feature below, but it ensures that the family have full accessibility to the residence. We've also removed some stairs on the right wing, the bedroom wing, which were internal. And there's truthfully just that balance of without flat topping the entire site, but making it accessible so they can age in place. And item 9, site visit, we actively welcome it. You let us know when you'd like us to come up, and we'll have the full team there so that we can answer any questions on site as and when they come up. That's kind of a quick summation of all of the comments, responses, and like I said, we're really excited to try and move this one to preliminary.
Anybody have any quick questions before we go to public comment? Any public comment?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. Or dial *6. Sure. We do not have any public comment.
There's a hand.
That's Rory. That's who's speaking right now.
Oh, I did have a question about the trees.
Okay.
On the plan, it looks like, the symbol for existing trees along the road and around the car barn continues through where the dry creek bed is. But with the grading and the dry creek bed and everything, I'm assuming those would all be eliminated.
If possible, could you go to sheet P100? That's going to be a better depiction of it's the next sheet along here. Just if you go one more sheet over, sheet 9, I believe it is. So on the landscape plan, The colored trees are new, the non-colored trees are existing to remain. So you almost had it.
So yes, the trees near the house would be new.
Correct.
Okay.
But if you look at this drawing here, you can kind of see the ones that we're talking about by the garage and by the
Yeah.
streetscape. And most importantly, the big mature oaks that we're absolutely in love with, those stay in place.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So Rory, one quick question. Does the dry stream bed, it kind of does that zigzag and sort of starts and stops, is that right?
Correct. So it starts from where the hammerhead in the driveway is, going back down to the ADU into the main house. It starts there and it flows all the way through underneath the bridging element, through by the entry, again underneath the next bridge, which goes to the bedroom wing. It continues out to a retention basin. Make sure it's treated so that we're not flooding the water down the hill, and then obviously naturally percolates down.
I guess, so does the stream bed start where the beginning of your arrow is? Or is there drainage kind of towards the road as well? Yeah. Does it go under the drainage? Does the existing drainage kind of go under your driveway, sort of?
Well, I think that's where the plan is to kind of start capturing the water. Obviously, when we do this grading for the new residents, we're going to be depressing that. And what we don't want to do is depress the house in any capacity that suddenly we're having water load kind of building down the hill and then hitting the house. So this was kind of a thoughtful approach to try and capture that water, utilize it in a design feature, but then obviously not damage the house or flood the hill. You know, we don't want to alter the water direction drastically that has ramifications for, you know, down the hill.
We didn't want the house to be a dam to block the water either. And we didn't want to create situations where we needed to rely solely on drains. So this was an opportunity to keep the water flowing and also create a little bit of poetry. So rather than put the water in a pipe and wonder where it went, we're expressing it.
Is that Kevin speaking?
Yes, that's me speaking, sorry.
Thanks. Oh, that's really cool. I was just thinking that you might have said that there was an existing stream, kind of dry stream bed on the site.
No.
We wish there was.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool that you're, using that water and taking it. Using it as feature makes sense. Thank you.
I've got a question about the bridge.
Yeah.
Is the ramp from the garage, is that only expressed on the interior, or does the actual roof slope of that slope down to the main house as well?
It's only expressed on the floor. The roof would be nice and flat and plain with the other roofs.
Got it. I had trouble discerning that from the drawing, so thank you.
And I think the plan we're looking at right now is showing some of a small flight of stairs, and that's been altered in the architectural plans.
Yes, that was a remnant that was left over from the previous iteration, but
No
that
worries,
is.
I'm just clarifying.
Yep.
My other question is, have you done preliminary well calculations?
We have, and we've also been speaking with the water master to ensure, from Mark DeBosi, I believe his name is, with regards to what we're going to need. Obviously, it's a larger residence and compound, so we understand that water is a finite resource, and how we can ensure that we're not drawing too much from the neighborhood. So that's part of the process that we've already been working with Brett's team, with the water master, and then obviously with landscape. So I believe the Emuelo has already been started and will be ready for the next hearing, for the prelim hearing.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's probably a little overkill, but we wanted to give you kind of all the information up front, just to make sure, just for concept, that we kind of answer any questions that you might have.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
No further questions? Public comment?
Okay, if you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. We do not have any public comment. Good. Yeah, don't everybody jump at once.
Well, I wasn't here at the last meeting for this, but I think you all have a real reverence for this post and beam language that you're trying to communicate while not, being overly canonical and literal about it and bringing in some nice warm materials to it. So I think it's a nice interpretation of the style, and I think the sighting is nice, and I don't see anything objectionable myself. I think it would be helpful from an information perspective if anybody still has qualms about the garage height or any of that. Things like a site section or a roof plan might help add an extra layer of information, but.
I think there is a site section.
Is there a site section?
Yeah, there was one before.
Yeah, there should be one on A301. Obviously, I appreciate the scale is a little harder to see, but roughly speaking, out of grade towards the street level, we'd be plus or minus, depending on the grade, 14 foot 10 to the top of the roof of the second story, above grade, existing grade. Yeah, so it's going to be on A301.
From the road.
Yeah, from the roadside, and obviously that's plus or minus because the road it's got a slope on it. And it's going to be a sheet A301 section 3. So one sheet up.
That's too many sheets up.
I apologize. Next. It's always the sheet you're looking for. It takes an extra 2 minutes to open. There it is on the left-hand side. 3 up. There's this section kind of showing the 2-story component. The dashed line indicates the natural grade. This is the worst case scenario where the excavation occurs, but just to kind of show you where that is relative to the street.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you go back to the site plan? I really like the way you have those cool pathways around the ADU, so the site looks like it'll be well used. Opportunities to stroll around, I think that's really neat. I think I'm just wondering if that turn into the garage though, Rory, how you have to, it's kind of a hairpin, might start getting a little bit old for the owners. It looks like it's kind of a tight turn. It's not the big garage, but the little garage is what I'm looking at.
The main garage.
The main garage. It's kind of seems like a tight turn.
Yeah.
And the only other thing is with the colors, it's a really lovely design, and the colors, the bright, it still seems pretty bright to me, and reflective is the only, and that's just
What in particular?
the stucco colors.
Okay. And if possible, might I ask, obviously we'd be happy to, I'm looking for an excuse to drive up there with my wife. So maybe we could bring the material board with us, a physical palette, to show you at the next hearing.
Yeah, could you go to the color board, you guys? It just seemed like it was almost white to me, and this one.
Yeah, he said the stucco didn't render.
Yes, correct. So the image is actually missing in that one, and that's why it looks incredibly white, because it's the sheet.
Very white.
I've got the project manager next to me, so there'll be a lashing later on. No, so the color, and truthfully, that's one of the ones where we don't want it to feel like a white stucco box. We want that earthy, hand troweled element to it, so it feels like it's been built by craftsmen, not not a town or master.
I had a comment about the color as well, and I would not like it to see that, the stone walls and the stone floors. The floors are obviously inside, but the walls, that seems to be kind of the cool kind of white. And then you've got your wood, which is a warmer tan kind of buff color. And that's actually the direction I'd like to see you go.
Okay, understood. So maybe a little bit more on the earthier topia tones in the stonework itself, and then on the stucco color, try and get a little bit more. Okay.
The stucco as well, yeah, because it's going to
Lighten.
It will lighten dramatically. It will appear much lighter.
Understood. Okay, yeah, we could certainly look at that.
So are we still interested in site visit? Are we doing that?
I think given the square footage, I think it's required by the bylaws.
Yeah, I think with the location and the square footage, and then if we had the color board on site.
Okay, so my next question is, do you want to see a historic post for it?
I think, given the location, and just potential feedback from the neighbors, it would be a good thing to sort of do our due diligence and go through the process and I do like the design a lot. And the marriage of sort of these earthier materials with the design, I think is great. But having said that, you know, there is a lot of glazing and I'm pretty familiar with this site, and so I think a site visit is definitely warranted.
How would you envision story poles without a ridge line? Without overdoing it?
Yeah, I honestly, I think just that.
And if I might interject, with regards to story poles, obviously I'm very happy to do it, but it does carry a pretty significant cost regarding how much we story pole. You know, if it's everything above 6 feet, it's in the tens of thousands of dollars. So my question.
How about we do this? Who's your planner? Adam, you're the planner for this?
Yeah, he's listed as the planner, Bethany, yes.
Okay, so, Adam, if you wouldn't mind, we could, I would meet with you on site. And we could talk about what would be best to story pole. Or, you know, what we think would kind of be a minimum, and go from there. Or Andrew could meet you on site, or Andrew and I could meet on site and talk about it.
And I'm wondering too, would a photo send be an option, or do you need to see an actual pole on the site?
I think can't answer that question until I stand on the site.
Fair enough.
Which is why I think one or two of us should go out there and look at it and say, okay, we think we need story poles here, but we don't need this here, and maybe a photo send there.
I mean, just corners staked in the two-story.
Especially the second.
I mean, that's all.
Store of the garage.
I think we could all envision if we have corners.
The rest of it.
Yeah, so it might be a lighter version of the more offending items. So the two-story element and maybe one or two towards the bluff to kind of get your
yes, that's
Okay.
pretty much in line with what I was thinking, but I wouldn't be able to determine that until I stood on site.
Understood. Okay.
And the only reason I'm doing this is because it makes sense to kind of do everything in one big bang, so that we don't go out there and have our site visit and go, oh, you need to story pole now.
Yeah, no, it's hard to envision when there's shrubbery and this and that. I totally understand. It's a lot of site. Okay, fantastic.
And I don't know if Adam, I'll get with Adam and talk to him, and then if you want to coordinate with Adam, but it might be most expeditious if just two of us went out. You want to go ahead?
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Andrew and I?
Yeah,
We're good.
Okay, so Andrew and I will get together and go out here and take a look at it. And then we'll coordinate with Adam and let him know when we're gonna be there and then whether anybody else needs to be there or not, but we have your permission to go on site.
I'll double check with the owners, but yeah, I can't see any issue. Why not?
Okay, if there's an issue, let Adam know as soon as possible so that he can tell us.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay? Great. All right. So you'll wind up returning probably, I'll talk to Adam too, but it's at least further conceptual with a site visit.
Yeah.
And then depending on where Adam is in the processing, we'll determine whether they come to
Is-
preliminary or not.
If I might, is there any way of moving this more towards a preliminary hearing?
Well, that was what I was just saying, is that
Okay.
if Adam is fine with it, I think we're probably fine with a conceptual
Fine with it.
preliminary
yeah.
agenda.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so, yeah, but you're gonna need to, your landscape especially, you're gonna need to be more specific, and I personally am really gonna be looking to see your Wello calculations.
Okay, absolutely.
And just to make sure that there's not gonna be a change midway through because the Wello's not counting. So, okay, so.
Makes sense to me.
All right, so item number 5, 22 bar, yes, 22 bar 00178 John Sebastiano Winery, Tier 3 Winery. We're having some people take a quick break real quick.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay,
Now we're ready.
now you can hear us.
Hi, everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, let me quickly read the comments from last time. Building height and location are acceptable. Appropriate measures have been taken to reduce the visual impact. Appreciate the consideration given to the parking area. Building lighting on the west side should be reduced at the doors. Landscape lighting on the west side should be reduced, particularly along the pathway. Reduced lighting on the south side of the pergola. Terrace and pergola lighting should be scaled back so that it doesn't differ greatly in intensity as compared to other areas. Photometric studies would be helpful. Look at modifying the stucco color to ensure it recedes. Provide colors and materials information at the next hearing. So you're here for further conceptual review. Go ahead and walk us through what you've done in the interim.
Okay, hi everybody. This is Pam with Taylor Lombardo Architects, and just wanted to let you know that in response to comment number 3 regarding reducing lighting at the west side, if you reference sheet A6.01. It's part of the architectural set, I believe. So
Is it A6?
6-1.
A6.01, yeah.
There.
Okay. So the west facing wall, at the west facing wall, we reduced the amount of wall sconces at the terrace outside those 2 private tasting rooms. There used to be 3 wall sconces there, and we've reduced it down to just 2. Also, the break room terrace, the amount of wall sconces there has been reduced as well. There used to be 2, and now there's only 1. In addition to that, we also took a look at the amount of lighting at the terrace outside the tasting room, as there was a comment about possibly not having a balanced light output on the building. So we have reduced the amount of lighting there by 25%. And then we have also provided a photometric study, which we have called Exhibit 6. I'm not sure. I don't think it's part of the architectural set. But it might be. Maybe it's at the end. There's an Exhibit 6 that we provided. Oh, no, it isn't.
It's in the exhibits folder. Exhibit 6.
Yeah, so we provided a photometric study of the exterior building lights and found that basically the average foot candles at the trellis area are within the IES, Illuminating Engineering Society, recommendation for outdoor seating in rural settings. Let's see. So there is also a minimum of 1 foot candle along the egress path of travel, which is represented by the inner arcs closest to the building. And I don't believe we are spilling out too much light outside of where that path of travel should be, and that we've reduced the amount of lighting. We'd also like to point out that the light fixtures wattage has been reduced from 10 watts to 7 watts. In order to mitigate that, and we have a sheet PL-1, it's the landscape sheet where we're also showing that the path lights along the west side of the production area were removed. So if you zoom in, to the west side of that building, you'll notice that there's really not much lights on that side anymore. We only have path lights that are facing the building, not facing the highway. Okay, and then we provided a stucco sample. I'm not sure if you guys have it there with you, but there was a comment about our stucco color needing to be darkened, and it's a little the colored elevation we're showing on sheet G 0.01 is a little misleading because it's actually lighter than what the physical sample or the actual stucco color would be. So we provided the physical sample for you to look at. I would also like to note that the material board was approved back in the July 2023 hearing, or sorry, meeting, CBAR meeting, and since the stucco color is the only item in question, that was the only sample that we provided for you today.
Okay. Well, just so you know, there hasn't been any kind of approval. All we've done so far is review.
Okay.
I know it's a simple semantic thing, but words carry weight. Okay. Okay, and thank you for the sample.
You're welcome.
And is this the sample as previously proposed, or is this changed?
It's the same sample, but like I said, the colored elevations on the renderings are a little bit misleading because it's, if you put it next to the digital file, it's much darker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we like to see that, because that's.
Yeah,
that's
I
a big
think the number 8 said provide colors and materials information at the next meeting, and I think that meant all colors and materials was what we were looking for, but thank you for submitting the
Yeah,
sample.
that's important.
Does that conclude your presentation? You need to
We
go
also,
over-
I just wanted to point out that we also provided a photo of the samples that we had shown back in July 2023. I don't know if you guys have that.
Is that in the exhibits folder as well?
That was emailed to Tina.
This.
Yep. You got it. Okay. Perfect, thank you. Any questions from board members?
No.
Public comment?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. We do not have any public comment.
Well, that was important. Okay, do you have any comments?
No, I think that most everything in that list was attended to.
Yeah.
I can tell.
I'm probably the only one that still feels that the terrace is grossly overlit underneath that pergola, but that's
After seeing the photometrics even.
With the lower wattage, you think that's an issue?
yeah, go back to the photometrics. With the exhibit. Exhibit 6. When you zoom in on that, did you look at the numbers on the terrace?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I'm totally the only one at this point.
And the second you get off the terrace, you're at 0.2 foot.
Yes, you are, and it's actually that disparity that bothers me, because it's similar to being close to being inside almost. There's some 10s and 8s and foot candles in there. And I think that if you're moving from one place to the other, it's not much of a transition. It's very much like being inside. And that's my comment, but I'm willing to let it go. They did the big moves, which is what I wanted.
We're okay with that.
So, but like I said, I'm probably the only one that still feels this way, so. Okay.
Yep.
So they're here.
Further conceptual.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is actually, I think, where we've taken it to the point where we would contemplate giving preliminary approval. So, I don't know if Tina is here.
She is not online, but,
Nicole?
Nicole? Unless she wrote
Yes.
So the next step for this project is to go to the, a different decision maker, the planning commission or someone else?
Sorry, let me look at the case type. Is it listed at the top here, or I can look on the agenda? Yeah, so for this case type, the next step would be to go to the planning commission, I believe. You would want to indicate that you're ready to take preliminary action.
Yep, I think that's where we're at. I think we're ready to do preliminary, so I think this is ready to go to the planning commission. And I think that's our only comments at this point.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, important step. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So item number 6, 24 bar
I can get them.
00055, Lupo Tahanian Winery Edition.
Much.
Being pretty expeditious today. Hope I didn't just jinx it.
Moving right along.
It's the conceptual. Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not the only one laughing, Kathy. So the comments from last time were the projection of the tower roof line beyond the ridge line has changed from the original drawings.
Bethany, which item are we talking about?
Yeah.
Item number 6. I already called it.
Did you?
Yeah, I called it, right? Yeah.
No, sure. Go ahead.
Yes, I called.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. The projection of the tower roof line beyond the ridge line has changed from the original drawings. Board prefers the integration of the original. The production portion of the structure looks somewhat stuck on. Encourage you to consider how you're transitioning between architectural styles. There are a lot of different styles being shown. We'd like to see a cohesive design vision. The landscaping is a lot to take on in this area, and given staff availability, may wish to simplify for ease of maintenance. Trees add a lot of value as far as regulating the environment and the heat. The site would benefit from more shade. Break up the expanse of the drop off for the delivery trucks if possible and try to introduce some shade. Overlay the bus and semi turnaround areas to see how they will interact and look for opportunities to add shade. There seems to be a recurrent theme here.
And that
Mark
wasn't gonna be
proposed parking spaces on project plans. The umbrellas will not do well in the afternoon wind. Look for more permanent solutions to provide shade. Consider adding a buffer between irrigated and non-irrigated landscape areas. The project is substantially very similar to the prior food winery. Site visit with story poles is required. Coordinate with the planner, and the planner will coordinate with the BAR chair on story pole locations. All right.
I'm Scott, and our family is the owner of this subject property and the entitlement that conveyed with the lot. And we have been, over the last 3 visits here with CBAR, trying to bring contemporary code and contemporary parking and other types of things into what was a 12-year-old entitlement set. And one of the struggles that we've been going through in each of these meetings with you folks is the rationalizing that tower piece and how they had this 3rd level sort of crow's nest tasting room at the very top. But as we got into the project, there were elevator overruns and issues that made that difficult, and we were all struggling with that the last 2 meetings. So we have, because we are now protracted out due to the unfortunate lake fire that put us 1 month behind, we switched design teams to a group that has a larger staff that can accelerate the CD portion of this, so we can still catch up with that January of 2026 entitlement deadline we have for vesting this. So you'll see a different design group on this one. But what we've done that we hope will really help with all of this is we've eliminated the 3rd floor and have brought everything under the standard height limit across the whole building. Have done a lot to rationalize the connected production room piece with the design of the rest of the building. And we really hope that you folks see a lot of positive things today in these adjustments. And our goal is to finish up the conceptual design today and then have story pole, field trip, and preliminary design at the October meeting. And with that, we'll have the architecture team speak. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Hi. Nice to see you today. Thank you for having us. My name is Jolie Long. I'm with our design group, and I'd like to start by just addressing the questions or the comments that were brought up from our last review. Starting with the first one regarding the projection of the lower of the entry tower. So we've taken the height of that entry tower and it's been reduced so that it now meets the same ridge line as the rest of the building. And we've increased the pitch on the gable on that. It's been switched to a gable from a hip. And we've tried to retain the overall the hierarchy of that entry piece by cladding it completely in stone to give it a little more prominence, and it has sort of these taller recessed entry pieces. So, and then moving on to the next question, where the concern was with the production area over on the far side of the building, and we have been revising it. We revised it so that it's more integrated with the building by using more harmonious and continuous materials throughout it. So as you can see, I guess I don't have a laser pointer, but to the right, that is the production area over there. It has a stone wainscot at the bottom, which is the same stone that you'll see at the entry piece. And then it also has a fine aggregate concrete wainscot area, the lower wainscot that also wraps around the entire building. So we've also, again, picked up the same pitches, the gable roof pitches, and some pitch break dormers. So the pitch break dormer to the right is part of the production side. The pitch break dormer to the left is part of the winery side. And then also just continuing on with the siding as well, wrapping that. And then also where the loading area is there, you'll see that there's a trellis, that's a trellis piece, and that trellis piece is detailed and of the same materials as the trellis that you see on the rear terrace of the building back there. So there's continuous use of materials through that, so that's been our effort in trying to tie that whole part of the building together. And then as the last part goes, where the comments regarding transitioning the different parts of the building and coming up with a more cohesive design. So what we've done here is we have looked at the concept and we've revised all the elevations to bring it to a more cohesive overall design concept. You know, we wanted to retain the nod to the rural site, to the character of the area. So we've kind of taken the modern farmhouse as our inspiration, as I indicated before. Some of those elements being the steeper pitch, having that repetitive, the pitch brick roofs. We have used the floor plan, by the way, and the massing all actually remains the same as what was previously there before. So the use of materials, we're using a palette of warm textured materials. So that is as I said, a local stone for the veneer, wood siding, and a fine aggregate concrete.
Okay, just give us 1 second, thank you.
Okay. And then the roof is actually a standing seam metal roof with a matte finish. And that same metal roof is picked up, that detail is picked up to give it a little bit more of a modern edge. It's picked up in the metal awnings that are over a number of the openings, as well as metal railings and, as we said before, the trellis supports. And that all is also carried over to the fact that the windows are actually, all the windows and doors are actually going to be a metal finish, as well as, and then for continuity, the fenestration of all the doors and windows all have a very similar grid pattern, so to carry everything throughout the project. And I think that's basically answering the questions. Thank you.
Hand it over to our landscape team to address the second half of the comments.
All right, good morning. Pleasure to be back here. So I'll touch on some of the comments from the last time we were here and then go over some of the improvements we've made to the set. So there was a comment regarding the maintenance, and we wanted to just address that briefly. The owners who you've heard from are really experienced property managers, and they're really committed to take on a project of this scale and are developing a landscape maintenance plan. Of course, from a landscape design standpoint, we will be looking at maintenance-friendly items as well as water savings and making sure that that's a part of the final design. So we just wanted to touch on that. Of course, it's a valued project for the owners and something that we're taking on from a design standpoint as well. So wanted to touch on shade. As you mentioned, that was a theme last time. And one thing we did add to this set here, just to help with that, is a shade study. So if you go to sheet 26, which is LA 105, I think it's all beyond here. We did put together a series of shade studies again for that back patio. We thought this would be very helpful just with the discussion here today to talk to that. We did add in some additional trees from the last time, which did help with the findings of the study. Those occur not only in the production parking area, but also in the back patio. And I think one of the critical things here, especially with the summer solstice, you can see in that left image, if you zoom into that, with all the different shadow patterns through the day, you do get a fair amount of shade in that back area, which is exhibited with the almost purple to that darker blue color there. And if you scroll over to the images to the right, those show some snapshots there of the different times of the day. And so you can see, I think this one is winter, perhaps. Maybe scroll up to the summer series. Actually, I think you're right.
It was
You're good. So especially with the 1 p.m. to the 4 p.m., you can see how the shadows really start to broadcast into the back patio area, really enhancing and allowing for shade in that area. The other thing that's interesting is on the far right-hand side there, where we have some patio space, that is in full shade in the afternoon. So, of course, we took those comments near and dear and added some additional trees, so thank you for that. But we do feel that, you're seeing almost 50 to 60%, if not more, of that back patio, especially the seating area covered with shade. There was some discussion about the vehicle turning. So if you go to EX 105, which is PDF 21 of the set, we did include a composite diagram here of all those different vehicles. So there is, of course, the bus, minibus, we have a fire truck in there, and then also a semi truck. And what you can see, especially in the left-hand side in that production area there, is that a lot of that space is needed really for those vehicle turns. We did study the idea of bringing in some shade, and we did actually carve up that space and brought in some trees to that northwestern edge there of that parking lot, which I think, does help to add some shade, especially in the afternoon again, just getting some shade on that surface there. There is a trash enclosure, so there's some additional movements there in that back kind of left corner that will be needed as well. In response to the parking spaces that has been addressed, we do have that shown on C101, which is page 15. That's the civil plan. It does show, ample parking through there with shade as well, of course. And then, lastly, I think really in terms of the transitional landscape discussion, we did look at bringing in a transitional landscape buffer. So if you go back to the landscape plan, we can kind of share what that looks like. So we added it here on the right-hand side, kind of in that hatch there. If you zoom in, you'll see there is a call out for it as well. But essentially, the idea there is, and we have some images for that as well that I can share. But the idea is really that is meant to be a harmonious transition to the native landscape there. We know that there's some seasonal differences to that, some that we want to celebrate. One of the things that I think is very helpful, if you go down 3 pages to LA 104, no worries. And then that's pretty good to the top left there. You can see we did add in some images, those kind of smaller images below the transitional buffer zone call up. That's the view actually looking out in that area. And I think one of the things that is really pleasant are the hills beyond and then the tree line of the creek there. And really that transitional buffer zone is meant to take the eye off the intermediate zone in between, give some buffering, give some staggered planting. So again, it's a harmonious transition to that, and you see it, as really one large piece with trees behind. So we did think about that as well. I thought that was a good comment. So that addresses some of the topics there that were brought up in the last meeting that we had with you all. Again, we'll be happy to talk about that a little bit more in the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions before we go to public comment?
If you're online and wish to speak on this item, please raise your hand. Not seeing any public comment.
Maybe I'm gonna let you start again.
Okay. Well, I'd like to just say, first of all, thanks for taking the comments to heart from the last session and whatever has transpired and, the last couple of months. I think it's gotten the project to a good place where it looks like, as an artist, you took a couple of paintbrushes out and you applied that to your building and it looks like a building, and there's that cohesive language that we're after now. I feel, at least on the architecture side, and there's a couple of little things that I think you can refine on the south elevation. It looked like there was a chimney missing, or maybe I was misinterpreting the drawing.
We plan to use electric fireplaces, electric fireplaces, so there won't actually be a flue.
Okay. at it. And I was curious why there were two different stair situations on the south elevation also. Seems like there's a curvilinear one and then a rectilinear one.
And that's obvious deliberate due to the heavy use of weddings at this facility and the entitled events that we can hold. And there's a lot of, in our research in this, the brides love to be on those circular stairs for photography. And it also helps to break up the rigidness of all of that rectilinear mass on that upper level. And just creates a little bit of drama. And we're planning to do like a Corten steel or a black iron type of curved stair that will be kind of a sculptural piece there. So I think it'll be something interesting.
Well, I guess where my comment's going is, you know, if it's not cost prohibitive, you might even want to duplicate that curvilinear stair and just have some really graceful element on that south elevation, but that's a dealer's choice. And, you know, one way or another, I think you've synchronized the building up to be a cohesive thing, so.
You will also notice we brought out a dormer shade that's shading the whole second floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to get my comments here.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
I agree with Andrew. I really appreciate and respect the work that you've done with our comments and, I think particularly for this site, the building mass is moving in a really good direction. This is really a picky thing, but in all of your other areas, you have sort of a symmetrical stone adjacent to each opening. And the little door on the left, it just seems like the stone above it is a little skimpy somehow. I know it's aligning with the wall.
I think that's concrete.
Or concrete, yeah, whatever it is, it just seems, it doesn't have to match the other side, but it just seems a little skimpy. But that's a minor detail. It's kind of like the stairs, these are all, you know, now it's kind of the fun detailing kind of stuff, but I look forward to the site visit.
Yeah, I think you've done what you were hoping to do, is take that, your original elevations and simplified it and made it more modern and charming. And I love it how you're thinking how the experience of the bride and what that feels like as part of your design decisions. I'm curious, I just realized, is it a new name? Laramie? Was it that before?
Yes.
It's always been that? Okay. So, yeah, I agree with, what everyone's said. Appreciate it.
Well, I just wanted to also say that, because we didn't comment on it, but the response in terms of shade and some of the other comments about landscape, definitely were answered at the concept level, so thank you.
I drove the site, so I really spent some time over there checking it out. I really appreciate what you've done through the third iteration of this building.
Thank you.
I guess my only comment would be is the cement. I'm not a big fan of cement, and I think the wainscoting would look much better if it was continuous and that stone went all the way across around the building, just to anchor the building tied into the landscape. That's my only comment.
Okay, so you've gotten a few nitpicky things, but I think that, you know, these are personal bits from each of them. Quite frankly, I really appreciate what you've done, and I really like the response and the cohesiveness of everything. And just to demonstrate, I don't have a problem with the little door with all the concrete. And, you know, I think it's kind of cool. I think you've done what you said you were going to do, which was bring this into a more simplified, updated per se kind of, thing. So I really appreciate it. And it was a lot of work to do in 1 month too. So yeah, no, I'm really impressed. I think you did hit, you did address, there was a response to all of the comments. And in the spirit of the nitpicky things, I really wish that back area could be broken up in the center with a big tree. You know, where you've got your turnaround for your buses and all that different kind of stuff. And I know you've got one bus that zips right into the middle there. So I understand the constraints, but like I say, if we're looking for Christmas, you know, okay. So if I had my wish list, I'd just do the landscape plan. And it's this area in here, or you had one bus that marked right up into the middle, but something in the middle there, I think, just to break that massive.
We looked at it a lot.
I understand, you spoke to it.
Yeah,
This is just me cherry picking, so. But I think the takeaway here is that we all appreciated the fact that you looked at all of the comments we made and have brought back your responses to all of the comments we made, and that this looks very good from our perspective at this point. And yeah, I think we should talk about our story poll. What do you want a story poll for a site visit? Guys?
Major ridge line and
Yeah.
corners.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it has to
Can we
be,
go to the-
it's a pretty simple structure, really.
Yeah, it's a rectangle.
We don't have to get crazy with, you know,
Corners,
dormers.
corners
and-
and height.
Yeah.
If you go to page 6, it's the roof plan, might be a good one.
Yeah, I looked at that one too. Okay, this will work between the two. So.
A4s.
Yeah, let's do the roof
Yeah.
plan.
A4.
Don't do this one.
Just
It's a massive file.
It doesn't like me today.
It's almost, no, almost, there we go.
There you go, that one.
Yeah, that's easy.
Obviously the east-west main mass,
Yeah,
the ridge line of that.
So you're thinking here, here, and here.
Mhm,
Maybe same thing here, 1, 2, 3,
mhm.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stake the corners in the middle,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then 1, 2, 3 here, and stake the rest.
yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. So Nicole,
Yes.
all right, so, what do I call this? Is this the,
Production.
So left of your hand is the trellis, it's the kind of shade for the production area.
yeah, we're not talking about, you could state that, but I think, the production, wing, we wanna stake, corners and peak. So that's 6 poles on this, 3 here and 3 here. I don't know how you wanna note that. It's the production,
Footprint.
okay? And then for the main ridge, moving to the other end of the building, these 3 here. Yeah, everybody's taking the same notes. Okay, so that's the main office area. We want 3 there, which would be corners and ridge. And
Anthony, could you tell me what is a stake and what is a story pole?
I'm doing story poles right now. I'll come back to stakes in a minute. So these are all story poles.
So what portion of the building is that?
That is the office area.
Okay.
Where the hand is now is the tasting room.
Yeah, where the hand is now is the tasting room, so this would be the, it's not the private tasting room. Just call that the main tasting room, and we want to, that gable end, we want corners and peak. So those are all poles, so that's 12 poles. Right?
I have story pole, office area, and main tasting room.
And production wing.
I have stake, production wing, corners, and peak. Is that staking or story pole?
No, those are story poles, those are all story poles, so we have 12 story poles so far. 6 on the production. And then the main tasting room area, we would have, yeah, the main tasting room on the opposite end of the building. The 2 gables would have 3 story poles each, corners and peak. Okay.
2 gables will have 3 story. Okay, and then am I not saying anything about the office area?
It's office above. I was looking at the second floor plan, that's why.
Okay, that's the same thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same space. So, not to be, not to- Okay, so then, I think we can say that we want to stake. Well, your roof plan doesn't include the lab. That's interesting.
Doesn't include what?
Doesn't include the lab. The lab is right here.
Pop out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a continuity thing. You guys did a lot in a month, I understand. I'm not poking fun at anybody. I was just a little surprised that it wasn't there. But that's what needs to be. And then.
And it's a one-story element.
So, I think you can say stake, all other corners of the building for reference on site. And you can include the area, the trellis off the production, if you stake those 2 corners, just so we can get an idea. And then if you prepare a plan that shows what you story polled as a separate sheet.
Stakes at the corner of the 2-story trellis seating.
I think
know that one, but
I think it's pretty much
that one,
those 2, right? It's just
it's
the
those
production,
2, and then, I'd stake, stake the little
Yeah.
corners in
Got it.
between.
Okay.
So probably nothing on the backside till you get to the lab, and then stake. So that's 2 stakes there, and then, you probably want to stake here, and then something here to signify, just in general. And then the trellis corners over here, so that we can see where the building is. Okay? And then show that on a story pole plan, and then that'll. So you're probably talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more stakes. So 12 story poles and 6 stakes at a minimum. I mean, if you want to go nuts, knock yourself out, but I think this is your minimum.
What's the process? We can whip that up. Would you like to approve that?
You can submit it to the planner before you do it, if you want me to just take a look at it, make sure you didn't miss anything, but yeah, coordinate with your planner, and they'll get back to me. Thank you. Yep, and that'll be fine, and the planner can also tell you, when they should go up, and how long they should remain up, because the planner will want to come and take pictures for the record, and I'm assuming this is probably gonna have to go to planning commission, just like the previous project, so if that's the case, then what we do is we take this up to where we would consider at a preliminary level, so at a place where we were comfortable saying, hey, we grant this
Bethany?
preliminary. Yeah.
Hey, Bethany, Brett Jones, sorry to interrupt. So this
Yeah.
actually is It was a zoning administrator
So
approval.
it's fine.
It's a substantial conformity. So yeah, we're hoping to come back in that October meeting for preliminary.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I have
So
talked
we-
to Francisco about that as well.
Okay, all right. So we're just looking at you coming back in October. So do we want to see them come back the next time when they return for preliminary with the story polls and the site visit? Everybody nod so I can hear your brains rattle?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, so yeah, we'd be comfortable with a return in, at the next, whenever you're here back again, with story polls, site visit, and, agendized for preliminary.
Hi, Bethany. This is Francisco with County Planning.
Yes, sir.
Just want to clarify, this will not be going back to Planning Commission. This is a
Got it.
SCD. Yeah, just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for confirming that, Francisco. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Good. Okay, that's perfect. So everybody's on the same page. Yeah, so that'll be fine. So just coordinate with Francisco about the site visit and everything else. Because he'll need to get you on Teresa's agenda, especially for the site visit. You wanna be first. So, okay?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for keeping me on my toes. All right, Nicole, you wanna share your screen and we can do the minutes?
Sounds good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Good job.
Okay, very nice.
All right, item 1.
So interesting. So interesting.
Whenever you're ready, Nicole.
I think I'm sharing.
Yes.
It says I'm
You are?
sharing.
It looks like.
What?
Actually, I think you can change number 1 to say the board unanimously prefers a single pole, no monopine.
There you go.
As this would be less intrusive. And then you can combine the last half of 2. Period, and then take out, yeah, the rest of that, and then,
Single, standard, anodized, blah, blah, blah.
yeah, and you could say the board unanimously prefers a single pole.
You can just say single, anodized,
Yeah.
galvanized monopole.
Prefers a single standard and it'd be galvanized monopole. You could say pole instead. Yep. Galvanized pole. Yep. Right, so many photosynthesis. Right, so, I think you could say update the 3 photo simulations to reflect a pole.
I think the first one's still weird. Does that matter?
We'll come back to it in a second. I'm sorry, my brain got ahead of me. A pole and add photo simulations of the pole as viewed from Highway 246.
And 101.
No, I already got that. Update the 3 simulations, photo simulations. Those are from 101.
Oh, that's right, they didn't have 246.
Okay, so going back to number 1, I think what Puck is saying is that you can say the board unanimously prefers a single galvanized pole instead of a
I
monopine.
just cut that part in. Well,
And, okay, yep. Quick question to the board. When we were talking about the finish, I was envisioning we were talking about colors for the whole apparatus, including the antennas, but did I actually say that? Okay, so I won't put that in there. Yep.
Are we done on this one?
Yeah, because I didn't actually say the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
If I
So
fence-
we're on the
Yep.
next one.
yeah.
Number 2, yep. Provide fence detailing, in keeping with an agrarian or form. That's fine. Provide fence and gate details on plans.
I would say coordinate
Okay,
fence and gate details on plan, because that's where they were kind of falling apart.
yeah. Okay, for broad. Fence detailing, coordinated details on the plans. Okay, that's good. Next. Yep. The wattage is not, it's not the wattage, it's the temperature is the Kelvin. Okay, yep. So look good to everybody else? All right. Right more. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything to say on this one?
What's WELO stand for again? Water efficiency.
See,
Landscape
landscape
ordinance.
ordinance.
Thank you.
Actually, you don't have to spell it out.
No, no, no,
No, Wello is fine. It's actually, most people, we call it Wello, but technically the state calls it Wello because it's model water.
Yeah,
efficiency.
it's
That's it.
really.
But yeah, we don't need Wello.
Well,
Scroll down, next.
that's
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have to go back to another decision maker. We're just ready to see it at preliminary, right?
yeah.
Oh, no. Return for, I'm sorry, I got one ahead. Nope, that's right. I think you could combine 2 and 3. And then you could make a note that these are all comments that were reflected by a single board member.
I didn't say the wings counting.
Yeah.
No, that was,
And I didn't say this to him. It was a number of us. It was a number of us. and they're
okay,
picking.
so each comments from, single board members.
Yes, yes.
Safe, that's very safe. They can't come and knock on our door. That's for me.
Yeah, no, it was, my semantics were off, you're right.
Why are you including that there? Because you don't do that in any other.
We did,
comments.
yes, we did last time.
We say comments from single board members for consideration. I've never, I guess I've never.
Then my comment would be to take the whole thing out. Because that's usually what we do.
Normally there's sometimes there's like one comment from one board member, and then we say one board member commented that in this case, there are multiple single board members that made singular comments. So normally we don't say comments from a single board member. We say
usually at this point, we just drop it.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it, really.
Take it out.
I mean,
Because they've heard it.
Yeah.
They've heard it, but I don't know that it needs to be memorialized here. So I take out number 2, actually.
That's fine.
Yeah. I'm
Let's
good
see
with
what they
that.
come back with.
Because that's usually what we do.
Yeah, okay, I think we're good.
Yeah.
They got the points.
Okay.
We put it at 12.
That good?
So I make a motion for approval.
Oh, that we
Oh, I
just
see.
adjourn?
Yeah, for adjournment.
I was second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Nicole.
Wow. We were
Thank you for your
jamming.
patience.
We were jamming
Thank you.
today.
Can we leave the tables like they are?
Do we need to?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to